This is the Hound Pit's pub. Closed for business. Half the district marked off as dead from the plague. We're right under the Lord Regent's nose, and he don't know a thing. Of course, if anyone finds out what we're up to, the Watch will break in with swords drawn. And now that you've escaped, the Lord Regent's going to be tearing the city apart.
Understatement. Can't have the scheme be revealed.
Admiral Havelock and the rest of the Loyalists. The Admiral's a man to be reckoned with. If anyone can help you find that missing girl, Lady Emily, and clear your name, he can.
All right. The Hound Pit's pub. Complete the intro mission. Oh, okay.
I expect they're hard at work in there. Best join them. They'll help you get whoever really killed the Empress.
You mean the guy that locked me up? Clearly.
So it's starting at last, Admiral. We found our man. Even after 6 months in Coldridge Prison, he slipped out like it was nothing.
Yes. Not surprising. He was the personal bodyguard of the Empress. You've heard the stories.
Yes, I have. It still amazes me that someone could get to the Empress and...
We can continue this later, Lord Pendleton.
Didn't
Man of
realize.
The hour is here. Corvo, I'm Admiral Havelock. A true servant of the Empire, like you. Until the Lord Regent purged those of us who wouldn't recognize his claim on the throne.
Right.
And I'm Lord Trevor Pendleton. I represent the nobility in our little group. But we all act as equals here at the Hound Pit's pub.
This is a momentous occasion, Corvo. I'm going to come out with it. We've been building a coalition of loyalists, aimed at ending the Lord Regent's tyranny and restoring the throne.
At risk of execution, we're committed to finding young Lady Emily and seeing her crowned as Empress.
We've got big plans, but we can't do any of it without you. We need your skills, your ability in a fight, and in helping us, we're going to help you destroy the men who murdered the Empress.
Sorry, you must be exhausted. We can discuss this further after you've recovered. But before you retire, you should introduce yourself to Piero. He's challenging at times, but his industrious mind buys him that right.
Okay, then.
Yes, Piero's as much an artist as a technician. He's going to be crafting the gear you'll need. Go talk to him, and then get some sleep. We can talk more when you've rested.
The second ad smoking.
Next time you talk to somebody, don't blow smoke in their face.
So this
asshole.
is like the hub area. You can just walk around and explore it, or you can just do whatever.
Come to the blank for the come to the pit for the restaurant and the I can't blood of stew. I don't know. Dunwall whiskey.
Yep.
Oh, whale oil. Ooh. More whale oil. Ah, free. I got some monies. There's a door over here, though. Okay, then. Ow. That was a fleshy noise for me running into a chain. So many empty bottles. I stole your plate, Pendleton.
Pleased to meet you, Master Corvo. I saw you at court in happier days. But you might not remember. I was once a close ally to the Lord Regent, Hiram Burroughs.
I don't trust
back
you
when
immediately.
He was just the spy master. He's one manipulative bastard, I can tell you that.
I now no longer trust you in the slightest.
He said he
My
was an
banishments have
ally.
been installed
I
at
know.
last with no small amount of complaining by that antiquated boatman. The others have no idea what it's like to suffer as I have. Speaking of which, Wallace, please breathe 2 bottles of Dunwall Red, never mind which, and fetch a clean glass. Well, I'll begin again tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't trust you in the slightest. Also, that's mine now. You can have that. Sup?
If I may, I am the personal assistant to Lord Pendleton, and one of the senior servants at Pendleton House, as was my father. Now I am entrusted with this house, the home of the Loyalists. I have never seen the Admiral fail at any venture. If order can be restored to the city of Dunwall, I believe he can do it. If anyone can get your old life back, it's him.
I don't trust him.
Just because he's Pendleton's servant.
Oh no, I trust him because he's Pendleton's servant. I just don't trust Pendleton. Quite a few
Yeah,
honorifics here.
The Admiral's room.
Excerpt from the Travel Journal of a Whaler in His Final Years. A Gaffer's Tale Volume 2, or a Gaffer's Final Passage. Gaffer, it's one of those.
Gaffer.
Gaffer. Alright, let me get into the right character. After more than a quarter of a century, I'm done with whaling. Too broken to continue. I've seen all the corners of the Isles and made more coin than most men see in a lifetime. But it's all gone. I've lived through an emperor and watched his daughter take the throne. A fair young empress she was, but slain so young. Everything beautiful comes to die. I've eaten in every part of the known world and sailed in the loneliest waters you could imagine. I've seen the cliffs around Pandesia. Even the best of it doesn't give me an ounce of joy. The years come back across my dreams as a line of butchered bodies, long, sleek, and singing among the waves under the moonlight, only to be speared by ugly, weather-scarred men who knife each other for a good pair of boots. Each year I had less time to come home. My tongue forgot the language of small chatter, and those who lived in the cities thought me odd. My sister Nina hardly knew what to say to me during our visits. When she lost her business to the Lord Regent's crooked barista, I was 100 miles east of Morlaix, gaff hand frozen from the sleet as we tracked the first bull whale we'd seen in months. I helped her as much as I could, but Nina died in the early days of the plague. None of it mattered. If I'm jaded and bitter, it's because this industry has taken away my dreams. The world has beaten me. Yeesh.
Log entry 1-4. It seems we've moved to a new phase. Martin's improvisations have borne fruit. The former bodyguard has been freed and is en route to the staging location. Pendleton's voting block and my military connections. All we've lacked is the ability to project lethal force in a controlled manner against a previously inaccessible... to the point, we need a man who can kill the bastards for us. Kororo is more than capable of that, I have no doubt. N-bomb. Is this off? Switch. Switch, where the hell is the...
Okay, that's funny. I like that. that little additional bit was actually kind of funny. It's been days since our men were dispatched to stash weapons for Corvo in the old sewer. They've not returned. So, I can only hope that they succeeded in getting the packages delivered. Piero spent considerable time and resources making those things. If I could find a way to mass-produce them, the Dunwall Navy would secure its place as the dominant force on the globe. But, back to Corvo. Can he actually break out of Coldridge? And if so, will he make his way here? I personally give him odds of 1 in 5. So, a 20% chance. Those are fair odds.
I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. Admiralty and the Fleet. Excerpt from a book on naval history. While each of the Isles has some form of naval fleet, none is more envied than that of Gristol. with its long, proud history of great ships, and the admirals who command them. Boys come of age in the cities of Gristol, hoping to someday captain such a ship, and family dynasties are made by those captains who track down infamous pirates or crush seditious uprisings, as during the Morley insurrection. In times of war and peace, Gristol continues to innovate at sea. The ship designs of Anton Sokolov himself now represent the highest standard in the whaling trade, allowing crews to hour their kill up over the deck and begin their butchery and processing, even as the ship returns to Dunwall. The crews can be seen working on their latest whale as the ship moves slowly up the Wrenhaven River, coming to dock with some of the most powerful warehouse companies, such as the Greaves Whaling House. Suspended in the rigging overhead and backlit by the setting sun, the silhouette of one of these creatures makes a moving sight as it cruises to its final resting place in the industrial heart of the capital city. Alright, Gaffer's Tale Volume 1. I should have read the other one. Well, shit. Guess I'm doing the story out of order. A Gaffer's Tale Volume 1, or A Gaffer's Early Adventures. My sister Nina and I left Tivia together, saying goodbye to our aunt, the woman who had raised us since childhood, leaving behind our home city of Yarrow in the cold, but beautiful white landscapes we had always known. We boarded a ship for Dunwall. Our parents had left us with a sizable inheritance, and we spent half of this getting to the capital city and establishing a small import shop dedicated to Tivian furs. Once I'd helped Nina establish the business, I was free to pursue my dream. Signing on with a whaling ship was the most exciting thing I'd ever done, and I saw it as a means to an end. Someday I would captain my own crew and eventually own a fleet of similar vessels. With tears in her eyes, Nina kissed me farewell, and I did not see her again for many months. As an apprentice to the gaffer, I got to see the tracking and killing of the great beasts up close. Nothing had ever fired my spirit so as the wind and pounding waves, racing after a wounded whale, being pulled by a skein of cables embedded in its thick flesh. I changed more in those first 7 months than I had in the previous 7 years. Whaling was beginning to put its mark on me, so that Nina barely recognized me when I returned. Tanned and sinewy with muscle, weather creases already wrinkling the corners of my eyes, but she could see that I was filled with joy, having found my purpose. This is a hell of a shift from Volume 1 to Volume 2, where he's like, I hate everything and the world has broken me.
Yeah.
Good Lord!
As far as the river mouth and flooded district. Do not attempt to approach or destroy a river crust. Any items recovered from doing so are considered state property.
I really shouldn't be stealing all this. I am not singing. What will we do with the drunken whaler? What will we do with the drunken whaler? What will we do with the... I can't. I'm trying to find a rhythm to this. Wait. Feed him to the hungry rats for dinner. Ugh. Whoa, hey, and up she rises. Slice his throat with a rusty cleaver, stuff him in a sack, and throw him over. What the hell kind of song is this? Good God! I stole shit.
Good deal.
My, you must be Corvo.
Thank you for doing that twist, I guess.
I'm Lydia, at your service. Your room is upstairs and ready. When they told me who it was, well, I thought you'd be older, like the Admiral.
Okay. Alright then.
Also, you can talk to people more than once.
I'm sorry it's so dark. We can't risk being seen. It is a bit romantic, though, isn't it?
No? Litany on the White Cliff. Excerpts from a series of Overseer Invocations by High Overseer Abram Templeton. And I say, okay, hold on. Okay, I gotta, do I want to go for a stereotype?
Religious zealot voice.
You want me to what?
It's a religious zealot sort of voice.
And I say to you, brothers, it is here that we make our stand as a righteous force against the growing darkness. It is here that we unite against the spirits of the unknown that would drag us screaming into the night, never to return to our homes, to our families. Together, we will serve as a rod to those who would stray from the herd, for the foggy gray water wastes of the outsider, fucking hell, god damn it. We will burn a bright fire with our virtuous actions so that others will not lose their way. And to those who choose to wander beyond the walls of our homes in far places, we will strike at them swiftly before they whisper to their neighbors, filling their hearts with strangeness and doubt. So anyway.
That was not what I expected, but I love it all the same.
Oh no. Wait a minute, that was the volume 4 I read.
Already.
Yeah, that was volume 4 I read. Here's volume 2.
No, you read volume 2.
Oh. Oh, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
This is the... Oh, okay. Is that a...
Spoiler.
It doesn't go anywhere! Weird. Ooh. The shadow on Bitterleaf. Finding my way by the feeble light of the dying fire, I saw her working. A large needle moved in her hand, following precise, esoteric patterns, knots and loops of seamstress craft from ancient days. Beneath her needle, his body clenched and shuddered, shaking the wooden table. A morbid fascination pushed me closer until she turned her blank face toward me, resting the needle in his flesh. With a refined tone, she addressed me. "So you are the lover, I presume? You too have been unfaithful, and now it is your turn to be mended."
That's creepy.
I love it! Good lord. Excerpt from a theater play. Lord Nathan Bale, shaken with outrage. "How dare you, sir, clothed so in my very home? I should hand you over to the watch, depraved Tevian." Prince Kalasar moving closer. "That's a harsh welcome for royalty, my lord. Your daughter treated me with much more hospitality. Alas, she has gone out for the evening, leaving me all alone." Lord Nathan Bale, stammering, studying the younger man before him. "What are you doing? Leave this house! Go back to your frozen wasteland, pale rascal!" Prince Kalasar, smiling coyly, reaching out. "No need for anger between us, Lord Bale. Is it so wrong for me to be here? As I've proven, I've developed an affinity for you and your family." Lord Nathan Bale, gasping. "Oh, my Kalasar, your skin is so warm. It burns." What the... What the hell did I just read?
Attention all citizens. Curfew extends from
You just
sundown
read a
to
gay
sunrise
theatre play.
unless you are otherwise authorized. Violators will be subject to interrogation and detained when necessary. Remember, the boldest measures are the safest.
Alright. I kind of want to read the full book now. Oh. I feel like I shouldn't be here.
Blood from the eyes.
What, the
It's
plague?
got prison across the river.
Wait, that's the... Oh, that's the prison I escaped?
Yeah.
Nice. The Fugue Feast. Bleh. At the end of every year, after the last day of the month of songs, we begin the Fugue Feast. The new year has not started, and thus the time that follows is outside the calendar. A period of celebration and feasting begins, during which the people abandon the very practices that keep them whole and healthy over the year. Many leave their homes, euphoric with spirits or potent herbs. Some paint their faces or wear masks to conceal themselves as they pursue their passions without reservation. When the right cosmological signs are observed and it is time for the calendar to begin anew, the sitting high overseer calls for the hymn of atonement and the Fugue Feast ends. Families return to their homes, wives to their husbands, enemies put down their weapons, and fires are extinguished. No complaint is given for those who have wronged others, deviated from ancient codes, or discarded oaths, for this time during the astrological alignment does not exist, and it is not recorded. The following day starts the new year, marked on the first day of the month of Earth, as it has always been. So, like a universal day of peace? If I'm reading that
Universal day of doing whatever you want.
A universal day of what?
Doing whatever you want.
Oh, so the Purge. Wait, that's bad. The Trials of Aptitude. Wait a minute.
This one.
Yeah, we read this one. Call to the Spheres, Volume 1. My stomach twisted as the engines of the odd vessel roared louder. It was the creation of Orcado, the third prefect from the Academy of Natural Philosophy. He was exhilarated, savoring each of the small craft's undulations. Could you not use that word? Orcado pulled a lever, and a great gout of smoke surrounded us. The smell of burning whale oil grew unbearable as the machine propelled itself upward. I was too afraid to look through the window, which suddenly didn't feel thick enough. As if knowing my thoughts, Overseer Brine looked at me and smiled. Some mild. I know how to English. Shut up. Recite some of the litany, my pupil. It will protect your heart from the turpitude of the void on our way to the outer spheres.
It sounds like they're going in a rocket or something.
It kind of does. Like... Okay, but why would I want to go down? That's just exits. Okay. Corvo. Oh, this is my room.
Yep.
Don't leave.
Celia.
Get back here.
The Admiral served in the Navy under the Empress, but something happened with the Lord Regent that drove the Admiral out. If I understand it right, Admiral Havelock made it very clear that we aren't to carry lamps outside.
Why?
Maybe you haven't
because
seen
you'll
much
be
of it,
seen.
but the city has changed a great deal after the Empress died. Since the Lord Regent took over, the city watch is best avoided. Most people try not to go outside at all.
Alright, fair enough. Thanks for the complimentary coin. Huh. Sure to protect your family from the ravages of the rat plague. The finest ladies in all the isles. Bitterleaf crematorium and fluid works. Blue powder! Scratched out. Kill the rats! Okay, then. Let me just, Okay. Guaranteed fall made James & Co. tow trial bottles. Free Saturday, December Preston Club, where there will be the following amusement. What a Johnson beer guaranteed dumb wall made. Okay. Holy shit. Graves lightning oil, high grade and undulated. Stop saying that! Or undiluted. I can't read!
I do like it though when people actually take the time to absorb the lore and all the tiny details.
Well, yeah, I'm very confused and I need as much information as I possibly can. It kind of helps. Oh, Pierro's out that way. So one more floor down.
I'll be crafting your weapons and gear. All custom work. For you, I will create the tools of a master assassin.
But what if I don't want to kill people?
And you got to kill people.
No! This cannot happen now the tank of whale oil is running. Will you get a new tank from upstairs, please, while I hold this in place? Be careful. Oil's unstable. When it explodes, there's a terrible mess.
Okay. A second solution. It is through no fault of my own that average citizen has expressed a preference for Sokolov's elixir over my own formula. So does Piero's remedy. A name I did not choose, if you must know the truth.
Yeah,
the public...
Right.
Sure. The public has spoken its usual message of idiocy, spending their coin as a means of selecting Sokolov's formula over mine, which I believe to be equal, if not superior. Much has been made over the popularity of these concoctions as a means of resisting this remarkable new plague. I say remarkable because this strain works in an efficiency we have not seen in the history of the Empire. This plague, now making its way through the city of Dunwall, is unrivaled in its effectiveness. I have studied it within the blood of those so afflicted, and it is nearly perfect. Elegant, in fact. That's not the word I would use to describe a plague, but sure. And while it is true that Piero's remedy and Sokolov's elixir are known to protect the body against the plague equally, my own has properties not fully understood, which relate to the mind itself and the spirit. And it is in this way that my formula wins out. Because I said so. Nah. Here is where one should pay attention to this contest, for you see, Sokolov's elixir, with its emphasis on the brute animal body, is a crass goo better suited for livestock. The subtle and secret variants in the key ingredients making up Piero's remedy ensure that it works on the higher functions that separate humankind from the mindless blue-jawed hagfish swimming in the Wrenhaven River. Blue-jawed hagfish. The fuck? Also, 200 coins for... Ugh.
Piero, I will not sign off on these purchases. A bag of powdered crystal, TV and ore? What's wrong with the metals in Gristol? King Sparrow feathers. If you need feathers, sacrifice your own pillow. Maybe at the academy everything you needed was paid for by tariff and handed out willy-nilly, but this is my bar. Or what's left of it. And we're operating on a budget. We're running low on oil, food, elixir, building materials, and everything else, so you've got to slow down. While I'm footing the bill, I will not approve your purchases unless they're absolutely required. No more copper wire or special herbs. If you need these things, go out and scavenge them. Half the city's in ruins, so no one's gonna miss any of the old crap you seem to need.
Alright then. Mine. Remarkably, each specimen I had the pleasure of studying during the voyage possessed some minor variance in physiology. On the second leg of the trip, east of Tivia, the crew hauled aboard a female, some 42 feet in length. I estimated she weighed 35 tons, and the ship sat low, rocking side to side through the night with a thrashing. By candlelight, I took her apart, sketching and taking notes. Against her bellowing, I cut into the massive tentacles around her mouth. Within, I found row upon row of teeth and a baleen running along the upper jaw. Though this broom-like structure, I assumed she filtered food from the water that was too small to be chewed. Jesus Christ.
The whales of Dishonored are quite different from real ones.
The whales, tentacles in the mouth already weirded me out. Oh, I don't like that. Dead counter is right above failed experiments. Commissioned by the Lord Regent in the face of the growing plague crisis, the dead counter is a position that will only be given to officers, usually of junior or middle grades. In most matters of edict or curfew enforcement, these officers will defer to the acting officer on duty. However, any dead counter will have command in situations related to the plague and the handling of the dead, including those late-stage plague symptoms called weepers in common parlance. Starting in the month of rain, interested officers may apply for the test, and if accepted for the 2-week training tour, pay will be administered in coin and rations of elixir at 1.5 per normal pay grade. Or 1.5 normal pay grade. Okay. By Piero. Oh, this is by Piero. Okay. Of course I've attempted to improve upon Sokolov's designs. Of course, and why not? After all, it is likely that his thinking was influenced in some small way by our time together at the Academy. We're all part of a community, striving to unknot the mysteries of the cosmos. Even those among us who possess the greatest minds are often led to a fruitful line of consideration by... consideration... I can't English, give me a second. Sorry. Fruitful line of consideration by... how does one say it? Intellectual subordinates. Sokolov is no exception to this, despite the glamour of genius he has cast over the aristocracy. And further, it is true that many of my experiments have failed. No need to gossip about it behind my back in your social clubs and in the very chambers of the Academy itself. Great ambition requires risks. You may laugh now at my door to nowhere, but someday you will not. Your children will likely see it as commonly as you see the electric lamps lighting our streets at night. But a few short years ago, you would have laughed at Sokolov's arc pylon or wall of light. Your laughter, your condescending smiles, they are nothing but evidence of your own limited imagination.
It was a bit insecure.
You think? A bit. Out at sea, Ebenezer Greaves. Out at sea, they secure the beast with hooks, with lines cast from the main ship, and from several smaller boats. Buoys keep the whale from diving deep. Once it's caught, a larger hook is driven through the tail, which is used to hoist the creature up through the chute. They moan and bellow for some time as the men get them onto the deck, then lift them into the scaffolding overhead. The ship adjusts its prow and returns to Port and Dunwall, where the crew works on the great creature, slicing up the fattiest parts while it still lives. Oh my god, at least kill the poor thing before you tear it apart. Jesus. Sokolov no longer has the upper hand with regard to supplies of whale oil. The good admiral has paid for the installation of my own system, which will enable me to work in this place. The oil tank dispenser, when activated, will produce an empty vessel for filling. When the empty tank is held near the oil tank refill pump, the magnetic attractor should take the tank and lock it in the correct configuration. Using the lever will begin the refilling process. Once refilling is complete, the tank can be removed and placed in service. Extreme caution must be used in handling the full tanks. They are quite unstable. The system is sound and well engineered. It appears that the Greaves Oil Company has done something correctly for once.
The Academy teaches that absurd idea that the energy in whale oil arises from the need to maintain life functions at extreme ocean depths. The pressure and the cold are too much to endure without it. I speculate that a human being might, by a process of adaptation, produce high-energy humors in the body. I could build a tank that would slowly increase pressure on a subject over a long period of time, and then observe them for years if need be, to see if the formulation of energetic substances developed. Surely the Empress would be able to furnish me with facilities subject to the necessary legal amnesty.
I don't like those implications.
Perfect. Now plug it in. Just perfect. Thank you, Cole. Here, see? The assassin's mask. You're a wanted man, so everyone in the city knows your face, but this mask will mean terror to them.
Ah!
If you just hold still, fit must be precise. There. Can you see normally?
Not really.
Lens out of alignment. There. Better now? I could create more for you. Upgrades for your gear, weapons, munitions. But our situation here is desperate. Scavenge the city for valuables, and I will resell them on the black market. That should give us the money to craft the things you need. Tell me what I can make for you.
Let's have a look. Oh, this is what I use my coins for. Spring Razor. A trap that can be placed on nearly any surface. Allows you to rewire circuitry and turn security systems to your advantage. Disable security devices or make them work in your favor by using a rewire tool in the circuitry panel for the security device you want to hack. This consumes the rewire tool. Rewired walls of light, arc pylons, and watchtowers will harm your enemies instead of you, while rewired alarms will be fully disabled. Worth it. Oh my god. Sleep darts, sedative effect is immediate even in combat. Makes the sword more effective when locking blades and pushes against an enemy. Increased radius for spring razor traps. Okay, that just increases the power of that, okay. Magnify my view. Bullet storage, bolt storage, grenade capacity, bone...
That one's worth it, in my opinion.
The fuck is a bone charm?
You'll find out soon enough.
You must be exhausted. I advise that you get some sleep. Your life will get even more difficult soon. You should rest while you can.
Yes, you're right. I'll head to my room for a sleep. I'll look around for a while before I bed down.
Well, you have done your exploring.
Sleep well.
I can never place Piero's accent. It's quite strange.
Yeah. What the? Alright, what do we got going on here? So I woke up. Everything dark. No shit, something's not right. I'm going back to bed. I can't go back to bed. Well, even if it's a weird-ass dream or a fever trip, I gotta close my door. I gotta be respectful. Suddenly, I'm in Lords of the Fallen, and this is Umbral.
I like that the water's flowing upwards.
What? Oh. Am I tripping? I think I'm tripping. Can I fall off the side here? Strange gravity. Well... yeah. Wait a minute. Isn't that the gazebo where...
Hello, Kororo.
Yeah.
Your life has taken a turn, has it not?
Hi?
The Empress is dead. Her precious daughter Emily is lost somewhere in the city, and you will play a pivotal role in the days to come. For this, I have chosen you and drawn you into the void.
I didn't consent to this.
I am the outsider, and this is my mark.
Outsider?
There are forces in the world and beyond the world. Great forces that men call magic. And now, these forces will serve your will. Use this newfound power. My gift to you.
Could you explain yourself, please?
Come find me.
Okay. Press left trigger to execute a fast and stealthy forward dash through the world. You can use it to move upward, but the distance is reduced. Aiming at ledges will allow you to blink forward and climb up. So kind of like what those assassins were doing at the very beginning of the game.
It's exactly what they were doing.
So I don't trust this guy whatsoever. Blue sphere indicates that you should
teleport now.
Well, I know, but I still shouldn't trust him. If they're using the same abilities that he just gave me, the outsider can't be trusted. All right. Ah. I see. Piero's spiritual remedy.
That's how you replenish your mana.
Ah, so I need both. I see.
And as you can see, it does recharge on its own after you blink once, but it takes a while.
These two look the same.
They're twins.
I want to kill them. Corvo, I am very sad. They say that you're dead like mother, but I'm going to put this note in a bottle and throw it into the river because I do not believe them. Living here is very strange. I do not like it, so please come for me if you can. The real question is whether that is really her note or not. What the hell is wrong with these whales? They got face testicles.
Testicles.
Why did I say that? Is that the Empress?
I don't think so. The hair is different.
The hair is different. I'm just like,
Oh, there's a whale on the left.
What is wrong with the whales? Like, why? Whoa. The flying fuck?
Soldiers on stilts. With bows.
I don't like it.
And plague victims.
Was that?
Those are plague victims.
Oh. Docks. Oh, like that. Okay. Huh. Can I have that? Well, give it to me. I want to go down the stairs like a gentleman. I lied. I don't know why I did that, but okay.
Because you could.
Fish.
Fishies.
Fish. Come back. Come back.
In the days that follow, your trials will be great, Corvo. Seek the ancient runes bearing my mark in the lonely places of your world, and at shrines raised in my name.
I'll think about it.
These runes will grant you powers beyond those of other men.
Other men that you've already given said powers to.
Runes, I give you this, the heart of a living thing, molded by my hands.
What?
With this heart, you will hear many secrets, and it will guide you toward my runes, no matter how they may be hidden. Listen to the heart now, and find another rune.
Oh. Equipping the heart in your left hand helps you locate bone charms or runes, even through walls. The heart beats and lights up when you are facing a bone charm or a rune, and it beats faster as you get closer. The heart will whisper secrets if you press left trigger while targeting a person or a location. Yo, that's freaky. I'm not too comfortable holding a literal heart in my hand right now.
Yeah, and it talks if you use it.
This place is the end of all things, and the beginning.
Ma'am? Okay.
It has quite a lot of interesting things to say about all sorts of places.
I'm gonna hide in here.
All of time is meaningless here. Neither seconds nor centuries. Someday this place will devour all the lights in the sky.
Are we sure I'm not playing Lords of the Fallen?
The one who walks here is all things. Cradle songs of comfort in bones gnawed by teeth.
Hold up.
Do you know that guard box that he walks into to get the remedy?
Yes.
I played this game many times and I never even knew that was there.
The power of exploration.
This is the place from which those who dabble in black arts draw their power. And this place is their doom.
Ow. Surely there was a safer way for me to get down here.
Yeah, you've got a teleport power sober.
Nah. Okay, yeah.
I can feel a great age ending.
Ew!
This place is the end of all things, and the beginning.
Once you've collected some runes, open the journal and go to the power section to exchange them for powers. Runes can be collected and used to acquire supernatural powers. How many times do you want to say the word powers?
Powers.
Go to the runes and acquiring powers. Go to the powers section to exchange them for powers. Runes can be collected for powers. Quite motherfucker. Alright, what do we got? Oh, I can... Oh. Let me see these other ones. Possession allows control of animal targets for a short duration. And they can be upgraded. Time bending? Summon a swarm of rats! But anyone attacks fights back. If the rats are released on a group of enemies, sometimes that group can kill enough rats to disperse the swarm. Devouring a swarm can also be used to quickly dispose of corpses, and if you also have the possession power, you can summon rats and possess one of them. At level 2, you spawn more rats, your rats inflict more damage, and devour a corpse faster. So wait, I can summon the rats and then I can possess them.
Yeah.
Bro. Okay, so this tells me there's a lot of runes in game. Vitality boost. Health increased. Build up adrenaline when triggering brutal melee fatalities. Okay. Agility. Jump height is increased and falling damage is reduced. And unaware enemies who don't see you turn to ash as they die. There's a lot of abilities that incentivize you killing, but if I have the option not to kill...
Dark vision's always a good one.
Yeah. Let trigger to see in the dark and reveal things through solid walls. You can also see their fields of view, as well as a visual representation of the sounds you make. Okay, that seems extremely beneficial.
How you use what I have given you falls upon you, as it has to the others before you. Now I return you to your world, but know that I will be watching with great interest.
Uh-huh.
See, that's the Outsiders deal right there. He looks for people interesting, gives them powers with no strings attached, and just watches to see what happens.
Kind of irresponsible, but... eh.
Well, he's probably very bored.
Probably. Hidden in an old bar on the river, your new allies have planned to share with you. Meet the loyalists in your circle to learn what they've got in mind. Oh, shit, so that wasn't a fever dream. Alright.
Alright, there's a bunch of DLC items in there.
What the fuck? Should I not take them?
No, you should take them. They're good.
Bone Charm. Bone Charms provide small supernatural benefits. Locate them by listening for the song they emit. By default, you can activate up to 3 Bone Charms at once in the Bone Charm section. Mystical fish?
The statues in this room give you an extra Bone Charm spot.
So these are all DLC items.
Yeah, but you're still going to need them.
This is the 4th day, month of high cold. Progress continues on the suppression of gang activity in the distillery district, but more slowly than I'd expected. The ruffians operating there have been cunning. I'll grant them that, but it's only a matter of time. I'll see their leaders flogged in public and sent beneath the royal executioner's blade. If I had my way, that mute bastard would be working night and day, removing the heads that need removing. Internally, the Empress does not seem pleased with my investigations. It seems that it is beyond her thinking, against her very nature as a trusting person, to believe that traitors move among us, but I know they do. They must. No. Jessamine would rather spend her time with the Royal Protector. At least he's likely to stop any immediate threat to her safety, but a strong arm is not what's needed against those who would undermine us. How will Corvo's sword stop a poisoned wine glass or an explosive delivered by courier? It will not. There are many threats around us, threats requiring meticulous efforts to police. Young Lady Emily is undisciplined, I'm afraid. Here within Dunwall Tower, she receives instruction from the finest tutors known in the Isles, yet her mother spoils her, and she spends most of her time lost in imagination, wasting her time drawing or asking Corvo to teach her how to fight with wooden sticks. The girl might rule the Empire someday. Every moment spent at play is a moment wasted. Shoring up security for the main gate leading into Dunwall Tower has been another pet project of late. To think that back in this day, Emperor Kaldwin left it open to the public during the day, allowing anyone to come and go as they pleased. If it were up to me, I'd seal off access to the streets entirely. But the Empress won't hear of it! The waterlock is much easier to protect, and if it were the only way into the tower, traffic in and out would be greatly reduced. Someday the wrong person is going to slip in and we'll suffer for it. Mark my words. No amount of security is excessive when it comes to protecting the heads of state. The Empress also disapproves of my plans for the Sokolov devices. Sokolov himself has no interest in security, of course, but he's vain and therefore keen to see his inventions deployed in any fashion. This wall of light he's been tinkering with has promise. In any case, at least I was able to convince the Empress to upgrade the pistols carried by the officers of the watch. Why do I worry so when no one else seems to care? If I ever fall asleep, will it all sink into the ocean? Will the rough things clamber over the walls and fill themselves on our flesh? This is what I see in the same dream several times each month. If only I had more say in things, more authority, I could protect us all. Perhaps I've been working too hard. Dinner and an evening of conversation with a certain lady of refinement might be in order. Perhaps somewhere nice in the estate district. Right.
Yeah, there's a bunch of lore from this DLC.
I can see. For over a year now, I have lived away from the Abbey, without the company of my overseer brethren or the guidance of the blind sisters of the Oracular Order. Days have passed with me sleeping in the dens of cut purses. murderers, and worse, and the nights have seen me prowling through the worst alleys and wretched corners of Dunwall. I've taken my meals with killers. At times I have ventured beyond the city walls, meeting in forgotten graveyards and the outlying ruins frequented by those of ill means. My beard has grown long, and I wear the weathered clothing and bits of boiled leather favored by the Bottle Street and Hatter gangs, and by those rough men and women who make their trade knifing others in return for coin. My hands have run red with blood. It's true, but I have selected my targets with care, choosing among those criminals and heretics who were not fit to live, executing them justly, and using their deaths as a means of building my reputation. So far, this trick has allowed me to make my name among my murderous colleagues without taking the lives of the innocent. My goal is singular. I must impress the assassin named Dodd in order to get close to him. What?
Dowd. That's how you pronounce it.
Dowd. Oh, this is a long one. Okay. Oh man, my throat's kind of... Of all the practitioners of black magic we have tracked, none concern the Abbey as much as Dowd. It is said that his mother was a witch from one of the archipelagos off the Pedician coast, taken captive by pirates venturing far from the Isles. According to the legend, by the time the ship returned, the captain was dead, and the witch controlled the crew, with Dow still a shadow in her belly. The earliest stories tell of a gang killer without mercy, moving among the shopkeepers and city watch officers of Dunwall like a reaper through wheat. Then a period of silence followed. Years, we now believe, he spent traveling the Isles, studying anatomy and the occult in the great halls of learning and in hidden basements frequented by fellow dabblers in the forbidden arts. Dowd is even purported to have spent a winter in the Academy of Natural Philosophy itself. And for a time, before a schism developed, he counted the Brigmore witches among his allies. All the while he honed his craft, and it is during this time that we believe he began to consort with the outsider. New reports emerged of a dusky-skinned assassin paid by the elite to eliminate their rivals in Dunwall and the other major cities across the Isles. Those who saw him and lived numbered in a handful, but all of them reported something strange. He appeared and vanished like smoke. Okay, that ability. From a nearby rooftop he gestured and a noble woman stumbled from her balcony, falling to her doom on the cobblestones below. Most recently, as this new threat of plague has risen in Dunwall, Dowd has been seen leading a gang of men in dark leather, dressed as factory whalers in their vapor masks. They seem loyal beyond comprehension for one so unworthy, leading me to wonder if some of his magic is dedicated to lulling their minds, enslaving them. Only a month ago, one young girl claims to have come upon a strange scene. Carrying a bottle of milk home to her crippled brother, she was taking a shortcut through the tailor's district. In a narrow street, she passed beneath the window and heard unusual sounds from within. Pushing aside the ratty curtain, the girl saw into an abandoned apartment, used by miscreants for gambling and trading haberweed. Haberweed? An occult shrine had been erected against the far wall, which she recognized from the teachings given by her local overseer. A man she described as resembling Dowd was kneeling before the shrine, muttering to an unseen spirit as if in an argument. He took a carving, made of pale bone, from the altar before him, and the lights all went out in a gush of unclean wind. Quiet as a field mouse, she slipped away, running until she reached her home. There can be no doubt. Dowd is an agent of the outsider and must die, for there is no limit to the evil this man might do. This is my solemn oath, and the great purpose of my life. Until Dowd is dead and his corruption has been purged from the world, I will continue to move among the depraved, winding my way toward him. I will not drop my guise or don my overseer's mask again until Dowd breathes no more. What the f... Of course I'll tell you, dearie. I won't keep any secrets from you in the end. All the days of my life are like the windows of a house. From the kitchen, I can see out into the garden where the leaves and stalks are brown and bug-eaten. You can see a little lump of dirt where something was wrapped in a blanket and laid to rest along the rows of twisting vines. That's not morbid. The front room looks out into the street, and the neighbors are all setting fire to their homes, barricading themselves inside, warm and snug, dearie. Don't forget about the bedroom either. It's season to a dreary alley, where hooligans are playing a game with an old man. The first two are hitting him with sticks, and the girl with them is kicking at his dry old ribs. Oh, to have those bones, to boil them in a pot. What the fuck? No one lives in my house anymore, dearie. No one you'd want to meet. When I lived there with my husband, we were fine, fine people. Vir amore, everyone would say. Your house is as grand as Boyle Manor. Better even. Your dinners are lavish, and your parties are the best. When that young Sokolov came to paint my portrait, I was nearly till in my prime. Radiant, he said, and he was just barely a man, so young, painting all the best people across the land. Everyone wanted a portrait by his hand, all my friends. I was the only one, dearie, wet with his point, glistening on the canvas for a pretty coin. But it wasn't all parties and paintings. My husband and I weren't always at home, no. We travelled together, he and I, to the far ends of the Isles, beyond even, all the way to the red cliffs of Pandesia, to dig in the rock and crawl through the caves, holding up candles and squinting at the walls. I can't English. Many precious things we came upon, but none so precious as the boy with the black eyes, dearie. All those marks and bones, carved so deep and polished so bright. I brought the old bones home, hid them from my dear husband. Then I learned to boil them and carve them myself. They made such good presents, dearie. The little mute boy took them home. He loved them so. All the time he came back with new bones for me, holding them up so I could see it in his eyes, even though his tongue was still. Granny, his eyes would say to me, carve these bones for me, make me another present. And he went so far, all the way to Dunwall Tower, the royal headsman himself now, my little mute boy and his shiny, shiny sword. Better bones were what I needed, you see. Better bones to carve and polish, scrape and gleam. My dear old husband was always tired. I made him soup, and then he was sick. Better bones was all. For my little mute boy, carved in the name of the one with black eyes. And after my husband was gone, given away as birthday gifts, I didn't want to live there anymore. So now I'm old and don't have many to give my presents to. It's sifting through the garbage for granny rags and feeding the little birdies that gather at my feet. No one wants to have tea, dearie. Especially those rude louts in Bartle Street. Slackjaw and his boys, always meddling with an old woman, just trying to make her way. In the end, we'll be together with him. You and me in the dreary night with stars above and below, and always the one with the black eyes, dearie.
You met that little mute boy.
My throat. I'm gonna be feeling this tomorrow. Okay.
You want the chin wag on Slackjaw? What he was like when he was young, before he got his name? Oh, he's got a cool head now, but it wasn't always like that in the days before he was the boss of the Bottle Street gang. Time was, young Slackjaw wasn't such a reasonable man. Like most of us, he grew up on the streets, running with a pack of ragamuffins and avoiding the law, pinching whatever he needed. Dark-haired and dark-eyed, smoking a pipe by the age of 10. For them born at the brothels or coming from the orphanages, he was either the gangs or working with the mudlarks, and no one wants that. Some get pressed into the Navy or put down in the mines run by the Pendleton or Boyle families. As hard as it was on the streets, as long as we was all got, at least we was free. By the time we weren't little uns anymore, Slackjaw was one to watch, usually calling the shots when we took down a farmer's cart or sidewalk street vendor. He'd come up with a plan, give everyone some part to play, decide on the split. Most of us just went along, because we learned fast that we made out better like that. More food, more coin, plus none of us wanted to deal with Slackjaw when he was in a rage. He worked on a couple of big jobs at Black Sally across town, and that was enough to get the attention of the other bosses. He wasn't just a street kid anymore. No, he was an up-and-up-comer, which meant trouble. Another guy who fancied himself as such was Mike the Fish, who was working his way up running the protection racket among the factory women. One fine evening, we were all taking on a bit in a body show in a body show in the theater house. Mike the Fish and his lot are there on the cheap sheets too. Just down the aisle from us. Mike gets a wild idea. He wasn't big on planning and throws a heavy ceramic spittoon at Slackjaw. Hits him square in the face and breaks his jaw. We look to see if there's any going to be a blood brawl, but Slackjaw just points at the door and we all leave, with Mike laughing at our backs.
Waking up the next day without telling us why, Slackjaw motions for us all to follow. He still can't say a word, so we just come along. We stop at the docks, and Slackjaw actually pays coin for it, a heavy chain covered in hooks. It's for fishing in the deep, something you'd attach to a long line off the side of a ship. It's about 4 feet, made of thick links. And there are shark hooks coming off of it at different angles. Slackjaw's got that thing wrapped around his left arm, dangling at his side. Not sure how he knew how he knew. Give me a minute. Okay. Not sure how he knew where Mike the fish was staying, but when we reach his girl's house, Slackjaw throws a bottle through the window just like that. It's almost noon. There's a bunch of screaming inside, and Mike pokes his head out, looking wide-eyed and baffled. When he sees Slackjaw on the street, a look comes over his face that still gives me the willies. Pure murder. Mike comes out the side door, bellowing like a blood ox, holding a cleaver, heading straight for Slackjaw. When they come together in the street, Slackjaw spins, and the shark hooks bite deep into Mike's arm and shoulder. He screams, but Slackjaw holds onto the chain. He's standing there with his jaw broken, clenched tight, with a chain wrapped around his left arm, hook sunk into Mike the fish, just knifing him as fast as he can. Mike couldn't fight very well, hooked like that and using his left hand. But he was a big guy, and it took a lot of stabbing before he went to his knees. Everyone was cheering at first, but then we all went quiet. It just kept going and going, until finally it was just Mike the fish blubbering, crying like a baby, and the sound of Slackjaw's knife. When it was over, and here's the brilliant part, Slackjaw took out a note and stuck to Mike's face with a nail. It just said, "If you want a job, come to Bottle Street." Slackjaw didn't talk right for a couple of months, but word spread fast. By the end of the year, once we had a sizable gang going, he sent out letters to their bosses, telling them that he was running a brand new crew over on Bottle Street. Most of them laughed or beat up the guys who delivered the letters. Green-Eye Trish came back missing a thumb. Oh my god. But apparently Slackjaw was expecting that kind of reaction and had a backup plan. A week later, 4 of the bosses were dead. It seemed like a series of unfortunate events, but everyone knew better. One shot dead by the watch while staying in the middle of a meat market. Another slipping and falling into the water out cold. One of the other bosses found in a bed with his belly opened wide, and a Tivian pear stuffed into his mouth. Still not sure what that meant. And, Sheila Barnsworth was found bubbling in a cauldron of hot wax.
Why is that one the most brutal death to me? Jesus Christ.
Slackjaw sent out another set of letters. Offers to the underbosses telling them that they'd be treated fair as peers. He even sent Green-Eye Trish with one of the letters. All of the underbosses accepted. After spilling the guts of his main competition, Slackjaw went in for stabilizing his business. Real neat-like. Calling in favors, smoothing things over, giving everyone a little bit of a coin or drink as a bonus, showing what he could be like as a boss. So everything got quiet, which always makes the boys of the City Watch nervous, of course. Word went out among the Royal Spy Master's snitches, and the responsible citizens group they called themselves, telling everyone working in a shop or sweeping off the front steps of their homes to keep watchful eyes for Slackjaw and his men. Trying to suss out what they were up to and what had just happened. But Slackjaw ain't stupid. He greased a few palms among the shopkeepers in the watch, too, telling them that he was in town to stay and that things would be run properly from now on, without so much blood. He was finally a real boss, ready to settle into the business of moving whiskey, running the hound fights, and offering up the ladies and gentlemen of the night, if you take my meaning. Then the plague came. At first, it seemed like a good thing. A few people got sick, and everyone wanted to buy those potions from Sokolov or Piero, health elixir or spiritual remedy, they call them. Slackjaw told me he saw an opportunity. We already had an old whiskey factory with a still, where we could water the stuff down and sell it discounted. Doing the same with Sokolov's elixir was a smart plan. Pretty soon everybody in the slums was sick and business was good. But after a while, there were so many people down with plague that everyone got scared. Everyone started acting real nasty, and everything fell apart. When people can't work, they don't have the coin for elixir, watered down or pure. When the Empress died, it seemed like Dunwall would slide into the void. Spymaster Burroughs took over, and the Watch started using all that new Sokolov technology. Watchtowers, tall boys, and then them arc pylons. They put up a wall of light across Clavering Boulevard. Clavering, I get. Cracked down hard. But Slackjaw surprised us again. Instead of leaving town in a boat bound for Morley or one of the other isles, he stayed and kept it all together. We'd get as much elixir to fight off the plague as the City Watch, with their taxes and rations, and that's kept us alive so far. Crowley.
Yeah, you got it.
My throat is in so much pain right now.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not!
I am. And you've got all your bone charms to look at.
Alright. Shot whiskey bottles explode with greater intensity. Win sword versus sword contests more frequently. Damage from explosions reduced slightly. Powers effect slightly improved.
That's a good one.
White rats can be consumed for mana.
Corvo just casually eating rats off the floor.
Oh, hold on. That's immediate. White rats won't attack you. Breathe capacity. Breaking glass sound is moderately reduced. Moderate keyhole peeping magnification. Swim speed increased slightly. Enemies miss more often with arrows and bolts. Drop assassination gives you a bit of health. Wait a minute. How many? I can equip... Really? That seems like a good place for me to stop for right now.
Yeah, I was going to say.